What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, James Eeks, and we are back today with the Malmo Regionals Wrap Up. Malmo Regionals was held in Europe, specifically Malmo, Sweden, and unfortunately for Malmo, there was a player cap for this regional. I believe it was around 165 players, so it wasn't as big in terms of attendance as lots of regionals we've had so far this season, but there were still a great amount of amazing European players there. And with Europe's unfortunate coronavirus outbreak right now, it's making travel a lot less common over there, so a lot of strong players did decide to sit this one out. While this is very unfortunate for the Pokemon scene, having these events canceled and people feeling uninclined to travel, there is nothing we can do right now but to stay safe. Everyone's health should take precedence over our scene, and personally, I recommend that we do not shake hands or even fist bump right now at these events, just to stay really safe. And if anyone tries to do this with you guys, tries to not shake your hand or something, guys, don't take it personally. We are just trying to stay safe. I think it is a great way we can cut down on the spread of the disease and all that jazz. But guys, let's try to stay positive and let's start breaking down Malmo Regionals. There was a few surprises here at Malmo, and there were a few very expected results here for our first Season 3 regional, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And guys, as always, please do check out my Twitch. I would love it if I saw you guys over there. Stream 5 days a week, all that jazz. Check it out in the description, but your support goes a long way, trust me. So guys, let's jump in. As always, guys, we're going to kick it off by congratulating the winner of this tournament, Tobias Kozitsky. Congratulations to him. This was the first regional or higher event in Sword and Shield won by a hard Trick Room team. Yes, perhaps Gmax Hatterene helped Tobias out this weekend. So he was running a relatively standard, at a glance, hard Trick Room team of Butterfree, Gmax Hatterene, Rhyperior, Torkoal, Indeedee Female, and Dusclops. So we've seen this exact 6 around in VGC 2020 for quite a while, for honestly a lot of the season, but it's never had that really big result until this weekend. The beginning of the format, guys, definitely did feature some Indeedee Hatterene. It was kind of all the rage. But the thing is Hatterene took way too much damage in the process of setting up Trick Room, especially with Duraludon being such a huge problem for it. So Hatterene kind of took the backseat and kind of went under the radar for a while, but now with the use of a Life Orb and its new Gmax Smite, Hatterene was used more on this team as a in-the-back sweeper instead of a Trick Room setter itself. Tobias was commonly leading Dusclops and Indeedee to really get up that TR safely, and then have Hatterene and Rhyperior in the back. And so while Rhyperior is usually commonly seen as the ultimate Dynamax Pokemon for Trick Room teams, Gmax Hatterene, with the ability to confuse both opponents, and then Rhyperior using Rock Slide, really put the numbers in Tobias's favor. They had to not get flinched, and they had to not hit themselves in confusion. And that's exactly what Tobias did. He played the numbers. The confusion flinch combo, coupled with his amazing play throughout the whole weekend, definitely stopped all the other amazing players at the tournament in their tracks. And he actually decided to run a few niche moves. We don't know all the details just yet, but he did have Hammer Arm, on Rhyperior, big fighting move, and able to lower his speed even lower. He didn't have to lower his attack and defense if he were using something like Superpower. And then he was actually running Brick Break Dusclops. And we usually see Dusclops with Bulldoze. The reason why is with Bulldoze, you can activate your own weakness policy around a Follow Me, because it hits spread and you can't follow me, the Bulldoze, since it hits everybody. But with the use of Brick Break, you're able to activate Rhyperior's weakness policy, and a lot of Togekisses aren't going to click Follow Me just because they assume that you're Bulldoze, and you can really mess with them like that, because they're probably not going to click Follow Me just because they think you're going to Bulldoze. And the thing about that was, I'm sure Brick Break helped Tobias a lot in the Lapras matchup, able to break the Gmax Resonance's Aurora Veil. So Brick Break was a really cool tech. I really respected it, because I don't think people are going to be going for Follow Me very commonly into when they see Dusclops and Rhyperior. And guys, he is planning on writing a team report, so I will include Tobias's Twitter down in the description, and we will just have to wait patiently for all of the details. But yeah, guys, huge congratulations to Tobias for winning such an important important European regional, especially with the cancellation of the EUIC. So big congratulations to Tobias. Next, I want to talk about the Spanish powerhouse duo of Eric Rios and Alex Gomez. Anyone familiar with the scene will definitely recognize these names, but if you don't know, I am here to inform you guys. Alex and Eric have been some of the world's most top and premier players for many, many years. They've done amazingly at regionals, nationals, worlds, you name it. They are always performing consistently, and this regional was no different. They both ended up making top 8 with the exact same team of Togekiss, Mimikyu, Snorlax, Rotom Wash, Aegislash, and Dragapult. Unfortunately, they did have to play each other in top 8, so they did finish in 3rd and 6th respectively. And yes, guys, when you guys are looking at that team, you see it right. It was a triple ghost team. Very spooky. And while this team looks relatively defensive at first glance, it's actually a hyper offense team in disguise. A Mimikyu disguise, pun intended. So Dragapult is a Dragon Dance weakness policy set. Mimikyu is holding a Life Orb. Rotom Wash is a Nasty Plot set, and Snorlax is not Belly Drum. It is actually a Choice Band Snorlax. Snorlax was able to let off the humongous Choice Band self-destruct next to 3 of its partners, all being ghost types. So that made the synergy of Snorlax self-destruct very, very strong. And then there was Max Airstream on Dragapult for amazing speed control. Mimikyu is always a pretty good answer to Trick Room, seeing as it's hard to take down in one hit due to the disguise, and you're able to reverse the Trick Room. I'm not 100% sure if they were actually running Trick Room, and I believe they have released a Poke Paste or a rental code, but only to subscribers. So unfortunately, I don't have all the details of the team, but it was a very, very cool team. You know, that hyper offense team in disguise. Very, very cool. So huge congratulations to these two guys with their really cool triple ghost team. The final team I want to highlight, guys, is none other than Jamie Boyd's Hyper Offense team. Jamie Boyd is a super creative team builder, so it's really awesome to always see his cool teams pop up at regionals. So this is the team he got top 8 with. He was using G-Max Charizard, Gengar, Grimmsnarl, Inteleon, Rotom Cut, and Conkeldurr. Jamie was the only user of Charizard in the whole top 16 actually, and Jamie was also not running any Sunny Day support, so this was not a new Sunny Day solar power Charizard centric strategy. Through the support of Fake Tears Grimmsnarl, all of the special attackers on his team, Inteleon, Charizard, Gengar, and Rotom, were supported very, very well. Gengar, with its blisteringly fast base speed of 110, can also be a very beneficial Dynamax, by using Max Ooze to boost up its partner's special attacks as well. And Conkeldurr was there to round out the Tyranitar Excadrill matchup, as it's known to do very nicely. Conkeldurr was actually Flame Orb 4 attacks, as opposed to usually running Protect or Detect and 3 attacks on a Flame Orb gut set. So this was a very, very offensive Conkeldurr for a very, very offensive team. Congratulations to Jamie Boyd for getting top 8 and securing his Worlds invite. I'm very excited to see a passionate Boyd trying to win Worlds in his own home country, so good luck to him, and I can't wait to see him at Worlds this year. Let's get into the noticeable placings and the usage statistics for Malmo. I'm actually going to mix these two sections of the video this time just because I think it's going to help the flow of the video. There was lots of cool things to go over, so this is a good place to go over both of them. So guys, let's start with Venusaur. Venusaur has been hyped up an insane amount. It's been seen as an insane threat. And while it should be relatively respected in team building, I predicted that it would be very, very overhyped. And it definitely showed here in Malmo that I think it was a bit overhyped. It did have a high usage of 18% here at Malmo, but only 2 Venusaurs even made the top 16, and no Venusaurs made top 8. The best players here at Malmo were prepared for it, and they did not let the sleep powder spammer succeed, I gotta say. While Durant has been floating around 10% to 15% usage ever since Dallas, 3 Durant actually made top 16 here at Malmo, which is really good for the old bug. And I've said it before, but I will say it again, Durant is a total glass cannon, but when used by great players, it can really power through anybody. You know, lots of players are prepared for the Durant matchup, but sometimes it doesn't matter. You know, the Durant player could just be so good, he's going to outplay you, and he's going to just one-shot your whole team. So Durant showing up yet again here at Malmo. Now let's get into Lapras, guys. Lapras usage was very, very high at this regional, clocking in at a 28% usage at its first ever event allowed. Lapras's Gmax form is quite amazing, but I would honestly say that I think it underperformed a little bit for how high its usage was. Only one Lapras made the top 8, but there were 3 Laprases all on the cusp waiting in top 16, hoping to make it into top 8. And speaking of Lapras, guys, let's do a small highlight of Fevzi's team he used. He used a very cool Gmax Lapras team featuring Alcremie and actually made top 8 with it. I will include the rental code in the description. He did release that. But it was very cool how he was able to decorate his Lapras for a weakness policy like boost, but he was actually running light clay on his Lapras to make his Gmax Resident that much more potent, making the Aurora Veil last 8 turns instead of 5. So that was a really cool team. I'll include that in the description. And then we have a Maddie Morgan. He made top 4 with Torracat. I don't want to get too deep into Torracat because I think I want to make a separate video highlighting Torracat versus Arcanine. I don't think the argument is Torracat versus Incineroar. I think it's Torracat versus Arcanine. But long story short, guys, Torracat is less bulky and hits less hard, but it has Parting Shot, U-Turn, and Fake Out over Arcanine. So it is no joke. Torracat is a pretty solid Pokemon, and it's very cool to see it perform so well right off the bat. And then, guys, as we can see, Dusclops also has a huge amount of usage here. There was a lot of hard Trick Room at this tournament, so that definitely weighed it down a bit. But as I talked about in my last video, Dusclops is a great Pokemon for countering Trick Room, and it's a great Pokemon to support your team if you want to have a little bit of a Trick Room mode, such as, you know, Dusclops and Conkeldurr, for example. And speaking of Conkeldurr, his usage was extremely high here at Malmo, up to 40%. Conkeldurr needs no introduction as the Tyranitar Excadrill Slayer, but he's also great against the new talk of the town, Incineroar. Incineroar being weak to fighting as well. And it's very strong against the Lapras, you know, Lapras being weak to fighting as well. So Conkeldurr is sitting very pretty in the meta currently, just being able to dispose of a lot of the top threats. So let's move over to Incineroar, which actually shared the same usage as Conkeldurr at 40%, but this was definitely to be expected. You know, that bulky fire type intimidator such as Arcanine, you know, it's no surprise that this strong support Pokemon is that high. Incineroar is an amazing Pokemon through and through, so that one's not really too big of a surprise. Let's get into the predictions that I have for our next regional. Alrighty, guys, it's finally about that time that I make some predictions on what I think will do well at our next regionals. I'm going to predict that we see a lot more counters to Trick Room pop up with how successful Trick Room was here at Malmo. I'm talking stuff like Dragon Tailed, Ludon, Imprisoners, Taunt Pokemon, or maybe even more Dusclops on your own team to reverse the opponent's Trick Room. So I guess all in all, I could say that I predict hard Trick Room to have a bit harder of a time next regional, as people are going to be more prepared for it than they were at Malmo. This is not to say that hard Trick Room can't win another regional or even top cut another regional, but similar to how Charizard had a target on its back after Dallas, I think hard Trick Room is going to have a target on its back as well. So that's one of my predictions. And then the next one, I want to say that we're going to see a big jump in Braviary usage. So Braviary has Defiant, you know, that counter Intimidate ability. And the thing is I just think that a Defiant Pokemon with access to Stab, Max Airstream sounds very scary for a lot of teams right now, especially because it's a flying type. With Defiant, it's able to put huge pressure on Conkeldurr, and with Conkeldurr's massive usage and Incineroar's massive usage, I think that Braviary is going to do really, really well. So those are my 2 predictions for our next regional, which I believe is Charlotte. Well, that just about does it here for the Malmo Regionals Wrap Up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and supporting the channel. I hope you guys learned a little thing or two and are that much more prepared for your next event. Season 3 just started. You know, there's lots of growth to make, lots of growth to see in the format, but, you know, we got to be prepared for more Conkeldurr, more Lapras, all that jazz. So, yeah. Hopefully things around the world regarding the coronavirus and the Pokemon scene will start to get better, but more importantly, for the safety and health of everyone, these events getting canceled might be for the best, and we should try to not be too upset about that. So guys, that's going to do it from me. Please do check me out on Twitch, guys, real quick. It'll be in the description. I would love it if you guys help support me over there. But guys, out there, stay safe, everybody. And that's going to do it from your boy for the Malmo Regionals Wrap Up. Peace. Until next time.